Episode 10 of Just Beavin. We've reached double digits in terms of episode as a podcast. Coming your way right now. And my goodness, we have quite the scene for Drew's background. Beaver will be joining us momentarily. Andy, JP with you. Pretty usual schedule per week is here is the Beaver himself. Drew, before we
Oh,
get into
what's
this
up,
week's
boys?
agenda, what's going on behind you there?
Oh, just showing you guys my opponents I've been beating on lately. As you see in the first store, we got Mr. Kale Ferrone. I don't know if you'll see it right here. Then we got the man himself who was talking up a big storm when he came on the pod that he was gonna beat me by 20 plus. And then we got Jake over there, devastated. Then we got little Jack Bauer at the door three. And then we got our finest farmer that sponsored our show a couple weeks ago, the man himself, Mr. Luke Hunley. And let me get out of the way a little bit. Then we got the other guy that was 5-0 last week. Or 4-0, my bad. I'm 5-0 now. Sorry, Cam, I beat you. But anyways, we got Cam Boyer here at the store that he took a little beating on me. But and then we got Cam Crook, who I got this week. We'll see if I can keep the undefeated season going. So there's just me knocking on the door and seeing what's coming next.
There you go. Little
Love it.
appetizer for what's to come when we recap week 5. Drew won that matchup with the undefeated teams between him and Cam Boyer. We'll get into those matchups right now, JP, pulling it up on our screen, but we will actually start with Kale against Cam Crook. And JP, we'll start with you here. An absolute whomping for Kale, a 50-point victory. And you had a quote on the show last week that I remembered about Kale. He was 1-3, but you said, despite the record a quarter way through the season, Kale is not the 1-3 team you would think he is, and he's not a team you want to run into anytime soon.
No, and I even remember saying over the summer that a lot of people were super low on Kale. And I think if we go back to the first power rankings, I want to believe I put him at 6. That I could be wrong, but I don't want to face this team right now. He's starting to get hot. Last week I think he scored 138 or something like that. Now he's putting up 160, albeit he did it against a terrible team, so it's really, it didn't matter. But great showing from Kale, and yeah, I think this is going to be the regular for Kale. Jamar Chase has been unfreaking real
Yeah, he's that
since
guy.
since week 3. He has been unreal. Deontay Johnson had a bad game against a great defense, and he still put up 160. I would not want to get in the way of Kale right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
god
and
dang it. Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
go
go
ahead.
for it, Drew. I was just gonna talk more about Cam's team too. And you look at it from Cam's side of things, a lopsided affair. And Gino played well. You look at the top guys as well. Brian Robinson outperforming his projections. Bit of a down game for CD. There were just some guys on Cam's side that didn't come through, but it's also one of those at the end of the day. We've talked about this with guys this year. Cam could have put up an extra 25 points. It wouldn't have meant anything because of how well Kale's offense did. Just want to get your thoughts on Cam's lineup this week. He falls to 3-2, still above 500 as an expansion team, but definitely hasn't been pretty last few weeks for
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Wandale's
oh,
his biggest asset right now.
him.
Um, I mean, that guy at a minimum here, he's worth at least a second, which is I can't believe I'm even saying that. But I mean, he's 23 and he's what, the wide receiver
dude, I
19. I mean,
think.
he's a
Yeah.
wide receiver too, and he's 23. I doesn't
Yeah,
get much better than that. So,
you're talking to the guy who didn't keep him for the expansion. Trust me,
oh
kicking
yeah,
myself every day. Drew, what do you got?
No, I just like how I said in the last show. I'm just glad I got away from Kale from week one when he wasn't showing his best. As you see, this is a team that you don't want to see right now. He's getting hot. As you see, I was going to mention earlier, I didn't know Jamar. I know Jamar had a good game, but I didn't know he had 41. That was
yeah, bro,
insane.
3 touchdowns.
That's insane. But like I said, like we see here, his running
Or two
backs do
touchdowns. Sorry.
his running backs do concern me. I don't like Eckler or Najee, but I think his receiver depth is going to help him get through the weeks and get him some wins going down. But yeah, I think Cam's just gonna slowly go down. He's got some good pieces, but I don't think he's going to be able to compete anymore. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Kind
and
of in that rebuild phase.
even with the running backs, if you're putting up 160 a week, doesn't really matter as long as
Yeah.
they come through with some sort of production. Another guy who's really kicked it into high gear, making a 3-game winning streak for Frankie. 146 points, Dade 75. A little bit of fallback down to earth from Dade. He was slowly progressing week by week in terms of points scored. Drew, we'll start with you here. This is pretty much what we expected. Frank nearly doubling Dade's score. The outcome is what we were, like I said, expecting and we're looking for. But it seems yet again he is hitting his stride, and this is where his team is really getting through the middle stretch of the season.
I mean, yeah, we all knew this was going to happen. Frank's team's too good of a team not to have this much points. As you see, if you scroll down some, I mean, Drake London just had the week that Frank was waiting for. We all knew that it was going to come. 33 points and a touchdown. I mean, that's just something you always want to want. I'm still waiting on Zay Flowers to get going. I know he had 19 here, but I want to see that consistently, especially since the receiver one at Baltimore. But yeah, I like how Frank's team's heating up. I think he's going in the right direction. And then we just got Dade over here. He's just in that rebuild phase. I like the pieces he got, but we'll see what he does with his picks.
JP?
Not a whole lot to say here. Frank did all this without Amon-Ra and Gibbs. Not a whole lot to say here. Frank's team's good. It's going to be good. Dade's team's bad. It's going to be bad.
Yeah, Jaden Reed continuing to show some good signs on Dade's side. One thing I'll comment with Frankie, he's doing all this, but Patrick Mahomes has not been very Patrick Mahomes-like in terms of fantasy production this year as well, which just makes it that much more impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at what I traded Jaden Reed for. Sorry. Jaden Reed's been really good though. He's definitely the most talented, as I thought, he's the most talented receiver in that Green Bay room. But yeah, I mean, Dade, yeah, came back down to earth. Frankie's good. Dade isn't. So
It seems like too that they're using him as more as the deep threat more than Watson.
well,
Could
Watson's
just be
not on
me.
the field half the time, so that's
That
a
is
little.
true. That is true.
That is a big problem there. As we move on to a matchup that was much closer than it should have been. Myself, the IR against Ty, 102-82 the final. I got my thoughts on this matchup, but JP, I want to start with you. Just some brief takeaways that you had as I improved to 4-1 on the season.
Yeah, the IR gets thicker. A-Chain, what's his diagnosis? Did we ever?
Was something with a concussion. They're on a bye this week anyway, so he should be good to go.
So then never mind. We're all
Yeah.
good. We're all good there. The IR, it's got another bed open now. The problem is Njoku, and I mean Cleveland is so bad right now. Everyone on that offense is poison. Leggett obviously got clamped. That Chicago defense, whether it's biased or not, the defense is freaking insane. The secondary is so freaking good. Metcalf disappointed me insane amounts. I put his overs in all my parlays. I thought he was going to dominate that New York secondary. It is just a down week from everyone. Fergie's back to being Fergie, though, and that's something you like to see. But, you did what you had to do. You got to win against a bad team, and that's really all that matters. You can only play who's in front of you, so.
Yeah, you can't ask how you did it as long as you did it. And I will say look at it, the one time he caught a ball, he went down and started holding his shoulder. I obviously was watching because it was the Bears game. I chuckled. Like it's the jokes write themselves at this point. Beaver, what do you got here?
No, I don't got much. Just what JP was saying. Just a little. Nothing really to add. A-Chain got a little banged up, but I think he'll be fine. Like you said, he's had a little concussion. A little down week for Kamara, but I think he'll be fine too. That Cleveland offense is just a mess. But other than that, I got nothing.
A few things I want to add. I loved when Ty texted on Sunday during the middle slate of the day. His words were, "Hey, I'm Andy," and then in all caps, "Score some points," all exclams. We were pretty tight for a while, and yeah, another guy, Khalil Herbert, for us Bears fans as well. This is not getting a whole lot of looks. It is the DeAndre Swift and Roshan Johnson show. I will say in the beginning, Ty acquired Kyle Pitts last week, scared me a little. Had a good Thursday night. Tyler Conklin did well in the overseas game as well. JP pretty much touched up with all my guys. And the one thing I want to say, did give a call to the OC, Marcus Gilday, this past week. Was not happy with the performance. Down week for a lot of guys. Joe Burrow's awesome. He played awesome. That game was so much fun to watch. And yeah.
One thing I do want to, not related to fantasy football, just real football, is they may be 1-4, but Joe Burrow should be in conversation for MVP right now. He has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I've been a vocal hater of Joe Burrow, but I mean the guy is he's good. So
yeah, besides week one against New England, he's been pretty lights out this year. So I love to see that in the same regard. We talk about pick-me-up weeks, huge. Jake adding a new head coach, Mr. Frog, and a dominant win. And for Brady on the other side, it's 160, 135. Good week for Brady, 135. And we say it a lot. If you're in that 130, 135 range, if you're scoring that every week, you're pretty happy. But fellas, unfortunately, it wasn't enough. And Beav, I want to start with you. Just takeaways as Jake gets to 2-3 on the season, snaps that losing streak, and gets a huge, huge victory.
Yeah, well, I just got a few things to add. Just on Brady's side, I mean, I don't know if you guys tuned in the last show. I told you guys Tank was gonna have a big day. Two
Yeah.
tutties, 101 yards. I mean, I just love that man. Hate to see him go off my roster when we had that little expansion draft, but I'm glad he's in that better home. I did read too. I was trying to get him off Brady earlier today, but I knew that was gonna happen. I did read today that they are leaning towards to have him get more snaps than ETN, so we'll see if that's actually true. They'll probably split carries, but no, I like Tank a lot. But that offense too has just been pitiful. They barely beat a bad Colts team, and I can't say really bad because we lost to them. But other than that, Jake. Oh yeah, and Tucker Craft. Woohoo! I still don't think he's gonna be that good, but I take it back. He's gonna be good, but with Musgrave being out, I think it's helping him get a lot more targets.
I agree.
Back-to-back weeks of 20-plus fantasy points for him. Granted, this is in our tight end premium format, but still very solid work from Mr. Kraft.
Yeah, I shouldn't say he's bad, but I do like him. But I just think it is making a big impact that Musgrave is out, and that is leading to all his receptions. But I do want to turn to Jake's team real quick. He gets back A.J. Brown this week. That's a huge addition to him. And he put up 166 points. That's huge for him. If I'm him, I'm clapping my hands. But on the downside, he's losing Pittman now. I saw he's out for 4 weeks now. That's not ideal. Just when he thought he was getting someone back that could help him, he's losing another asset. So we'll see where that goes. But I think he's still in the right direction. Good bounce back week for Jake.
Yeah, I don't really have much to. I don't have much to add about this. Yeah, the AJ Brown thing was all I was going to touch on. But Jake gets back in the win column. Good to see for him. Bad to see for the rest of us.
Yeah, a lot of booms on Jake's side. Pretty much the only guys that really let him down. At least what I have in my notes here. Everyone except Irving and
Tampa
the flexes.
Running backs.
Yeah, and Wicks and Moss. Other than that, everyone.
I think Moss got concussed.
Oh, did he?
Because he left the game. He left the game early. He got he got rocked. I remember seeing that. So, but
yeah,
Beav,
not going to complain.
Moving on to you.
160 points is Beav. This was the matchup, right? JP took you, Drew, and Drew, you didn't take yourself. I didn't take you either. And you said this was going to be a blowout, I believe, in favor of Camp Boyer. Instead, you win by 40 points. I want to start with you, Drew.
Who's the real mind, Boyer? Who's the real mind?
JP, when we get to our preview, he was 7-0 in these games. This is the first time ever, whether a guest or one of us three, to pick every single matchup correctly. Drew, you're 5-0. We touched on it at the beginning of the show with you having the background behind you there. This had to feel incredible.
Oh, it felt incredible, man. Like I told you guys, I mean, I had to have a big performance by Danny Dimes. And I mean, I know 22 points isn't a big performance, but for him, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a QB2 right now. He's the number 2 QB. Oh, no, he's a QB1 in this league. Based on our league, he's a QB1.
Yeah, QB1 in this league, yeah. But I like the performance of Chuba Hubbard. I was very scared of him going up against our D line. But I want to touch base too on Mr. Alec Pierce. I mean, shout out to him, man. I know this is gonna make Boyer very disappointed. I mean, I don't know if you guys are watching. He had 0 points with 3 minutes left of the game, and I'm not even joking. 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Then he puts up a deep ball for 75 yards with a touchdown, and then the play before that, I'm pretty sure he had a 65-yarder or something. It's probably not adding up, but somewhere around there, and he got down to 1. So really, he should have had 2 touchdowns, but I'll take it. He had 22 points. I was expecting 5 points. I would have been okay with it, but I'm still waiting for Greg Dortch. I know many people think who's Greg Dortch, but I mean, I thought he'd be a little better. I'm still waiting on him to pop up, but we'll see. But I'm proud of what happened.
The last episode I did mention that I do not think there was ever a 5-0 starter in Beaverfest, and I went back and fact checked that, and that is correct. Drew's the first ever to reach the 5-0 milestone, which seems crazy that it's only 5-0. No one ever got to 5-0. That seems oddly bizarre, but goes to show the competitiveness that we had in the first 2 years, which is nice. But I do remember saying that I hated Cam Boyer's matchups and loved the matchups that Drew had. And it feels good to know that Drew didn't pick himself, and I opted to pick, as Luke mentioned, the black magic of Drew Grossenheider to keep himself in the running for 5-0, and put my faith in Drew and whatever voodoo he uses, and it paid off. So
can I add one more thing real quick? I can't believe Kirk Cousins had 34 points. I mean, shout to him. I was never expecting that on Thursday
Yeah.
night.
What were your thoughts after that? Because that was to begin the week. Yeah, Thursday
No,
night. You probably were
I'll
already
tell
like,
you
oh
his
man.
thoughts. I'm gonna tell you his thoughts. He texted me and he said, can you send me an AI picture of Kirk Cousins commanding a bunch of beavers? He wanted me to make an AI picture because he was so certain he was gonna lose because
And that was going to be the thumbnail this week.
Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
dunked all over him.
dude,
Yeah.
I was so depressed for that. But
Yeah.
it worked out.
I mean, for Cam Boyer, before we move on, that Aaron Jones injury is tough, right? It's always tough to have, especially early on. And some of his big name receivers, Waddle, Debo, Olave, just bad performances.
Schuster at 130 yards.
I didn't even know that. I'm mad that
Yeah.
I see
Granted,
that now.
I did not watch Monday Night Football, so that's on me.
No.
But Jesus,
No, yeah, he had a good game.
His price just went up. I know Boyer offered me a trade for him that I probably should have taken. That's all right though. But yeah, I mean, just the guys that should have performed well. Debo didn't do much. Waddle, rough game. And it's tough with Jalen Waddle, right? And even Olave, he was involved. He was in the 94% of the snaps, like you see on your screen. Obviously, Derek Carr getting banged up. They're going to go with Spencer Rattler this week, so we'll see how that affects things. Jalen Waddle not really having a quarterback. And Debo Samuel's weird, guys. He either will go for, 20, 25, or he'll go for under 6. It's not very consistent. Or I guess this year he's more consistent. But in years past, it's been very touch and go. So rough for Cam Boyer this week. And the final matchup we're going to do here, we will preview, or I should say we will recap our Beavin guest, Matt Hendricks. Will recap his matchup and preview his week 6 contest with JP when he comes on here in a minute. Looking at the matchup here, Luke, another one of those weeks for him, guys. This was a tough one. Most points he has scored in a game this year, 151.5. He loses by just over 2 points to Jack. And this was the other one. Drew and I took Luke. JP took Jack. Best matchup of the week. And Josh and his friends just on the wrong side of this.
Yeah,
Go.
do you want to hit on Shaheed for me? I'm kind of curious what receiver he is now in this league. Like what he's ranked. 17, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, yeah, I was wrong about him. He's getting
too. That's freaking crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's getting a lot of targets. He's obviously not just a deep threat now in that offense. They're seeing more in him.
And look at his snap share since week 1.
Yeah, it's impressive. And to be honest with it, looks like he's getting more production than Olave. Like they want to throw him the ball more than Olave. But I could be wrong. But yeah, I was really impressed with Shaheed. Good win for Jack. I believe he's 3-2 now. You guys could maybe fact check me. I could be wrong. But
he
yeah.
is 3-2, yeah.
But yeah, like we said, if Luke's three-headed goat doesn't go off, I mean, he's in some trouble. I mean, if you'll look back at the team, I'm pretty sure Darnell Mooney still had 29 points, right?
No, more. I think 30. Yeah,
31. Yeah, that's just a barn beater. I mean, Andy started Flacco with 26. I mean, who would have thought he would have lost this matchup? Joe Flacco putting up 26 and Darnell Mooney putting up 31. Nothing
lost
against
this matchup because his 3 best players did not perform.
Just like last week.
Yep.
Exactly. Which I will say is right now, hot take, boys, and you guys could say whatever you want, but this might be another bad Bijan year again. I just don't like what I'm seeing right now. I could be wrong, but just how they're using them on 3rd down and just they're not giving them the ball. Like it's just like look right there, 12 carries. That's a 1st-round pick, the 7th overall pick, right? In the 2021. No, that's way bad. My bad.
2023.
Yeah, 2023. Only 12 carries to your guy that you believe that was the guy for this offense that was going to make this place explode. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not liking what they're doing over there. But, I don't know. What do you got, JP?
Rashid Shaheed, if you ever see this, I hope you regularly think about when Stone Labanowitz and the Southern Illinois Salukis knocked you out of the FCS playoffs. I hope that keeps you up at night because you keep me up at night when you make me lose all my parlays. Okay, now that I've gotten that out of the way, I do want to say that I did like Jack coming into this week. I loved his matchups, and I hated Luke's matchups. I didn't like the Breece Hall matchup in Minnesota. Jerry Jeudy, that's one of the – every week that trade gets worse and worse, and it climbs the list of worst trades made in the league. I don't understand it. It was so fucking stupid, so dumb. But, I mean, Jesus. But, good on Jack. I've said a million times – that he is a sleeper team. His team can go off at any week. And that I've always in all of our power rankings, I've ranked him higher than the two of you. I've liked Jack's team, and I put my faith in Jack this week, and he paid it off for me. So
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
if we're gonna be honest real quick, him starting Josh Downs week 1 and week 2 really screwed him. Just if he just gets someone else in there,
he's
I think
4-1. He's 4-1,
yeah,
literally. If
4
we
and 1,
started
yeah.
anyone else against Ty, he'd be 4-1 right now.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Weird to think about, man. Pretty wild.
Just bad managing.
Yeah. So I will say, yeah, we all touched on the points perfectly. I want to make a quick correction. It was JP against Matt this past week. So we will recap that matchup, preview Matt's matchup coming up this week against Frank, our Beavin guest, coming your way right now here on the Just Beavin podcast. It is time for our Beavin guest of the week. You can see him on our screen right here, Mr. Matt Hendricks joining the pod. Matt, welcome onto the show. And before we talk about your week 5 matchup with Mr. McGuire and preview your week 6 matchup with Frankie, I just want to talk. You're one of our 3 expansion owners. You are the first expansion owner to join the show since we started having guests on. So it's been a brief stint in the league for you, but want to just ask you how you've enjoyed your time at Beaverfest so far.
It's been fantastic joining the league. Bunch of great guys, and had some rough bumps in the beginning, some learning curves, you may say. Luckily, one of those learning curves was taken away, but it's been fun. My fantasy football luck has not been great so far, but I'm feeling a hot streak coming. Got a nice part of the schedule coming up. I'm feeling a nice little winning streak coming. Maybe
That's
not
good.
this week.
Good
but
with the confidence too. I know you got me not this past week, but the week prior. So I know you've gotten me at least once, and we'll see what the rest of the season obviously entails. But we get the chance to go through your matchup here with JP from week 5, and it's just one of those, right, where there isn't a whole lot you could have done at the end of the day. Obviously, I'm sure you would have wanted more than 116, but 191. And this is where I'm just going to let you two talk about your respective teams. JP, we'll start with you. Big week for Mr. Haggerty. He has been quite the addition and quite the head coach that you have brought on for your group.
Yeah, we knew when we were looking, defense, and we hold Matt under his projection, and that is what we in the offense firing at all cylinders. We hit our season high in points. This is what we like to see. This is the best team in the league. Benjamin Haggerty is leading us all the way this year. And all week I had to listen to Matthew talk about how I'm going to lose the 2 expansion teams. All this, I'm going to be 2-3. He's going to have a better record than me. And you know what? He poked the bear. Benjamin did not like that. Benjamin took him downtown. Matt's going to be shopping at a thrift shop the rest of this year. Because let me tell you, the ceiling can't hold us. Team Benjamin Haggerty to the moon. Manziel Mafia is useless.
Man, bringing out all the Macklemore puns. And I want to we'll start with this for you, Matt. Before we talk about your performance from this past week, some good stuff from your main guys, top of our screen right now. You named Johnny Manziel as your head coach. JP just mentioned the Manziel Mafia rebranding. Talk us, about that decision. What made you lean that way and make a change?
Well, to be honest, my roster management sucks. It's been terrible from week 1. I should have won week 1. If any of you guys remember that, I could be 3-2 right now, sitting in a really good spot. But yeah, no, I watched his documentary. I think he really matured as a person. I'm an underdog team. He's an underdog kind of story. And I think it really fits,
Well
Yeah.
said.
Just adds up. I get that. So then from there, obviously you could have put up 150 and you wouldn't have come close, but just the overall takeaways from
Not
your
even a
group
little
this week.
close.
I don't know if my team
close.
can. I don't know if my team can physically score 191 points. I'm gonna be completely honest.
I don't think a lot of teams can, so I wouldn't feel bad in that circumstance.
No. So I mean, it was nice seeing Likely catch 2 touchdowns again. That was good to see, even though he was on my bench. Nice to see he actually had something going for him after week 1. Andy Dalton, I was hoping for a boom game from him. I knew what
Bryce Young
Stafford.
outscore him. Oh, almost.
It was close. Yeah,
It was very close.
it was close.
Wow. Didn't even
Speaking
see
of that, he looked good on that last drive. Give him the keys back. That's all
I'm
I
with
gotta
you.
say.
I agree with you.
Give him the keys.
I fully agree with you.
He had confidence. He was running. He was moving. He looked great. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say on this one, to be honest. There was no chance for me to win this week. I poked
0.
I poked the bear and I learned from my lesson. But I do
And this
want
is
to
with
say,
Marv putting up 5.
yeah, I was just about to say he could have cracked 200 if he really wanted to. Yeah, that's just insane. I don't even know how that's possible.
How many times, JP, have we had a 200 plus score? Once or
One.
twice? Once.
One.
I think it was
Cam
Boyer.
Boyer. Cam Boyer is the only
yeah.
one.
I thought it was Cam Boyer. That was going to be my guess. So yeah, and obviously I think everyone on the panel picked JP. We didn't pick it in this big of a fashion, but if it's just a straight up pick 'em, we leaned that way as well. And speaking of picks, we'll kind of get into our week 6 preview, and we have you here, Matt. So what we're going to do is have you talk about your matchup for the week, and then we're just going to get a quick fire, rapid fire of your predictions as we've gone against our guest pickers, having 3 of them now. 2 of them have gone 5-2. That would be Jake and Dade. Luke went 4-3 for his time on the podcast. Matt, you got Frankie this week. Frank, 3-game winning streak, has really hit his stride after dropping the first 2. Just want to get your thoughts heading in to this matchup.
So I think I got a chance this week, and I'm not just saying this because I'm playing him. I think I legitimately have a chance because he's put up some 145, some 150s, and my team is due for that. My team is due to explode. Brady put up 145, and I haven't cracked 140. I'm breaking 160 this week. I'm beating Frank. Big performances coming. I feel it.
Can I hear like who your like guy is this week?
Josh
Most-
Jacobs is scoring 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
He scored his first last week. They looked to feed him the ball in the red zone. He's scoring 2. Diggs with Collins out. Cooper is getting the targets. Deshaun Watson just is ass. But I mean, Baker has looked fantastic. He's my savior right now. Jacoby Myers is due for a good game. Like,
He is the QB3. Wow.
Yeah.
I
mean,
traded
he's
Brett
been my
for
absolute savior.
Curious who the QB1 is. I wonder if it is. Oh, look at that, Matt. Look who the QB1 is, Matt. Wow. I mean, I was just curious, honestly, who the QB1 was, but I'm glad we found out.
Yeah, like we couldn't have guessed that.
Too good. Too good. Drew, your prediction for this matchup, your pick.
I'm sorry, Matt, but I got Frank coming in winning this by 20 plus.
Whoa.
I just think his team, he just scored 166 or something like that last week, and he did it without Gibbs and Armoron. I just said that really bad. St. Brown, my bad. Bad.
The armor is on.
The armor is on. Whatever. St. Brown, you get it. Had them both out and still scored over 150 points. I just like all his matches this week. I think his team's gonna explode again. I got Frank by a mile.
Yeah, I'll second that. It's really tough. It's nothing against you, Matt. It's just really hard to pick against Frank's team. I've only picked against Frank once, and that was when I played him, and it worked. But other than that, it's hard to pick against a guy who we've consistently had atop of our rankings, or at least near the top. So it should be a good matchup, though. I think it'll be better than what one might expect. Obviously, the projections look not like a total blowout, but I think it will be closer than a lot of people think it will be. It is tough, though. And the reason why it is a little closer, and JP just showed it by scrolling down, Frank doesn't have Mahomes this week. And I know Mahomes hasn't been his typical self, both in real life and fantasy-wise, but nonetheless, he's still a pretty solid floor as to what you're getting out of Mahomes. He's missing a few guys, but everybody's starting to miss guys, right? Injuries, bye weeks. But at the end of the day, I think Frank's depth prevails. I will take him in this matchup. Mr. McGuire?
Yeah, I mean, let's just go through Frankie's team. I mean, Stroud, Walker, Gibbs. I mean, Jesus, Amon-Ra, Flowers, London. It just gets better the farther I scroll. And, I hate to do it, but Manziel Mafia is getting the win this week.
Wow.
I'm calling my shot right now. Stroud is gutting against New England. New England is winning that game outright. ETN is not even going to hit 10 points in his projection. Bo Nix is going to get destroyed by Harbaugh and the Chargers. I'm telling you, I've said it 3 weeks and it hasn't happened. This is the Keenan Allen week. We need the veteran presence in London. We need someone to get us
one
time. I am so on board with the Josh Jacobs is going to go crazy this week.
Wow.
I am rolling with the Manziel Mafia to upset the Colorado Buffaloes.
Calling his shot. And JP, like we mentioned earlier, 7-0 last week. He got every matchup right. He's got the hot hand.
Did anyone just see? Did Frankie just set that right now? Did you guys just see this?
That I do not know.
Oh, because the game just started.
Yeah, the game just started. We are recording on a Thursday night. We've been
I was
caught
very
red-handed.
confused.
Oh,
Yeah.
Also, like you mentioned, JP, I do still think Frank's going to win, but I do not like ETN playing this week, especially how
No.
Bigsby, as we talked about earlier. I do not like how they're splitting carries now. Does
Oh,
he
I
not
don't
have
like
it?
any of it. And I love the
Personally, I
Manziel
love it.
Mafia this week.
I don't.
There you have it. Before we get
See what
to
happens.
the just Beavin segment where Matt, you get asked a bunch of questions of all random natures by Drew. Let's quickly go through the rest of the matchups just showing on screen to get your picks for the rest of week number 6. We got that matchup down. Let's go Benjamin Haggerty against Fats Domino, JP and Ty.
I think Helen Keller could probably pick this matchup pretty well. I'm gonna take Benjamin Haggerty by 75.
Yeah,
Oh,
not a bad pick there.
Yeah.
Cam Boyer and Jack, what could be a better matchup than you think as well.
I'm gonna ride the hot hand. I'm gonna go Jack here. You know,
Okay.
wow. All right.
Boyer's team, they put up some 130s. Jack's been hot. I'm gonna take Jack. I'm gonna ride him.
There you
Pause.
have it.
Pause.
Got the Beaver himself taking on the mighty Polacks this week, a fellow expansion team. The other Cameron.
I really want to take Crook here, but I got to take Beeve. His fantasy luck's insane.
Yeah, the voodoo magic that is kept on being referred to with Drew in this instance. Myself, the next matchup, and this one will get interesting as well, taking on Kale.
I'm sorry, Yak. I'm gonna go against you here. I'm gonna
It's all
take
right.
Kale. Your roster's just been struggling, and once again, Kale's another team that's been putting up some solid points. So I'm gonna take
Yeah.
Kale.
I'm shocked I'm projected to win. I'm going to keep it honest with you. I don't know really how I am, but
He must have
that,
buys or something.
yeah, no, it's the boys are hurt right now. They've been hurt for a while. So that is A-okay. Hello, I'm Mr. Frog. A big win for Jake last week, putting up 160 against Luke Hundley. What is anticipated based on the projections to be a closer matchup as well.
Give me Zippy here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not much else to say. Luke's roster is really struggling right now, and I think Zippy's gonna hit a stride here in 170, 180 this week.
And last but certainly not least, Dade and Brady.
Holy shit! Give me Brady.
This one could get
I
interesting.
mean, it could.
That one
If
could get very
Jaden Reed
interesting.
and some other people have some big games for Dade, he might not be happy, but
Hey, we'll get into that
Yeah.
later, boys, but I got some words about that matchup.
Yeah. No, that'll be interesting to preview later. So those are Matt's picks. We talked about his matchup with Frankie this week, and we recapped his week 5 contest with JP. It is that time, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to give the floor to the Beaver himself. Drew, fire away with your questions.
All right, Matt, for number 1. So if you didn't go to school for ag, what would your second option be?
my first option was architecture, but
Okay.
I didn't want to go to more school, but it turns out I'm going to grad school anyway, so
Fair enough.
yeah.
I like it. All right. Second question. Go-to fast food option. Like, what's your go-to option right now?
We just had this debate the other day. Chick-fil-A, man, it's the best. There's nothing better.
What's your order?
12 count, large fry, sweet tea.
Fair, that's valid. All right, this is my question I really want to know your answer to. Can you it's not really a question, kind of like a thought process, but I want you to take me through you and Jake's text during the Bryce Young trade. Like, I want to hear what happened with this.
So this was like a month process probably of me trying to get Bryce Young. I showed you guys some of the offers. It was probably 30 offers sent back and forth between us. I mean, just an insane amount. And my thought process was Bryce Young is a better quarterback than any quarterback in this draft. And quarterback is one of the most important positions. So I'm like, all right, I'll give up my first rounder this year. And lo and behold, I accidentally hit first rounder in 2026 instead of a second. And that's how we got to Bryce Young and Ricky Pearsall for 2 firsts.
Those are the mistakes, man, you're gonna make. But I mean, it is what it is. And now seeing Bryce Young on the bench, riding behind the Red Rocket himself.
He'll be back soon. Don't worry.
I do agree. He'll be back. All right, moving on. Fourth question. who would be your frenemy in like this league as of
Who's
now?
your biggest adversary?
Oh, definitely the dude that fucking runs John Deere, Luke Hunley. Not even a question. Just a little shout out to my team's sponsor, Turner Family Farms. Got the right color on this hoodie, red, not green. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that one.
What is it, JP? The War on Route 4?
The War on Route 4.
I got it right.
That's
There we
right.
go.
All right, and then
Mhm.
our last question here for the day for you, Matt. Just our general beef question. Take me through, what's your go-to drink at the bar? Gotta have one drink. What would that be?
Like one drink forever.
Yeah, like you're about to die and you have to go get that drink.
All right. It could be whiskey ginger ale. It
See,
could
that's the
be
thing.
Guinness.
It can't be. It could. Like, I need to know like what's like
But
your.
if I had to choose one drink to drink the rest of my life, that's gonna be consistent. It's never gonna let me down, and it's gonna be a hot take. Malibu and pineapple.
Oh, I thought you were going the
Interesting.
other way.
I
That's
thought
that's
JP,
I
what
thought
would-
you were I was fully expecting him to say Guinness right there.
that's what I was thinking too when I saw you clapping. But
Malibu and pineapple. It's
I do like
smooth.
that.
It goes down nice.
Are you 21?
I'm not a woman. I'm not gay. But listen, it goes down nice. And if I had to choose one drink the rest of my life, I'm choosing it because I can drink it in any
Hey.
setting, anywhere.
You
Hey,
like
that's
it, you
fair.
stick to it. I respect it.
But thanks for coming on, Matt. I appreciate you doing the Beavin questions with me, and I'll give it back to Yak.
There you go. Yeah, like Drew said, appreciate your time, Matt. It was awesome to have you on the pod, and we will update the people that listen and watch next week as to the results of your picks. You got any last words to say before we get on out of here?
No, I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Of course, Matt Hendricks, your Just Beavin guest here for this week's episode. Matt, thank you so much for coming on, being the Beavin guest this week, getting to recap your matchup with JP a week ago, preview your upcoming matchup with Frank, talk about your time here in the league, and some rapid fire questions from the Beaver himself. So we've already previewed one matchup out of our 7 this week. Let's preview the others. Why don't we? And we start with you, JP. Benjamin Haggerty taking on Ty. As you can see, recording this on a Thursday night, our matchups have already gone underway. JP getting an early lead, having Jordan Mason going. But guys, I feel like this one won't take a whole lot of time to preview and pick. Ty is not trying to win. JP is after putting up 190 this week. And for a simple reason of the rosters are not even close. It looks like Ty's roster is playing a completely different sport. JP is a pretty easy pick here.
Yeah, I walked downstairs, just saw Jordan Mason get like a 32-yard run. That was nice. But yeah, not much to say here. I'm not even like excited for Ty's roster anymore, and so I don't have anything to like say. I love Kyle Pitts, but beyond
Yeah.
that, I literally hate every asset on this team. So that's I guess I like JJ McCarthy and Penix, who you guys can't see because it won't show us the taxi squads, but beyond that, I mean, just an uninspiring roster. So I'm obviously taking myself.
Yeah, I got nothing really to add here. Like JP said, I'm taking himself. But like he said about his team, I don't like anything he's doing. I think he's got what, 2 first-round picks this year, right? Or has he got 3? Still, whatever he's
I don't
got,
remember.
Still, whatever he's got, I don't think that's gonna help him much. I think he's gonna have to do have another rebuild year, unfortunately, the following year. So I think his team's not gonna be competing wise until 2027. But I could be wrong, but the way he's going, I'm not really liking. But I got JP here.
Another good matchup, at least in terms of the projections for our next one to preview. Cam already with a few points. Cam Boyer, that is, with a few points to his name on Thursday Night Football. The Mudang Maulers taking on Jack Bauer and the Monocle Gentle Sirs. This is another one, guys, that it's tough based on matchups. Cam coming off a 40-point loss to the Beaver. And because of that, Drew, I want to start with you in your pick for this one after just had beaten Cam. Do you think he can bounce back and get a win over Jack this week?
Yeah, I was leaning towards Jack earlier this week, but looking at his matchups, I don't really like Jonathan Taylor's matchup. I don't like him going against that Tennessee D. if he's even back. I think he should be back though. He only had a high ankle sprain. Chase Brown, he's questionable there too. I don't know what to think about him. I do think, like JP said earlier, I think it is going to be a good week for Terry Scary. Shahi, expect big production from him. I mean, it's just a coin flip, but what Jack's problem is that he's starting to left tackle at tight end. That's the thing that scares me. I mean, you don't know what you're going to expect from Mark Andrews. Is it going to be 0 points? Is it going to be 20 points? I mean, I don't know. But I'm taking Cam Boyer here in this matchup.
JP, where are you leaning?
I want to ride my hot hand with Jack. I really, really do. I don't think JT is going to play. Contrary to what Drew says, our health expert, high ankle sprains are extremely painful and they're very hard to play through. Even if he plays, I think they will be split, or at least like he'll get 40% of the snaps, but I think he'll be on the low side of 50. And Mike Evans always gets clamped by Marshawn Lattimore. While Cam Boyer's roster does scare me a little bit this week, I think Love and the Packers are going to shred that Arizona defense. And the way Rattler's been talking about Olave, I expect big things from Olave because that Tampa secondary is bad. So as much as I want to take Jack, I'm going to lean Boyer here.
Yeah, it took the words right out of my mouth with the Rattler to Olave connection that we could see this weekend. I like the matchups better, and they always say health is wealth. And I know Cam has got some guys out with bye week and other things, but he's the healthier team right now, and that's where I'm going to lean. I think the Mudang Maulers improve to 5-1. So a sweep there across the board, at least with the three of us here. And we go from that to Drew's matchup, and already some negative points for the mighty Polacks after an interception thrown by Geno Smith. I don't think that was going to change our predictions here this week. I'll go first and get this one out of the way. I got you going to 6-0, Beaver. I don't know when your first loss is going to be. I know you have a tough matchup coming. Have you played JP yet? Or is that the one coming up?
I got JP week 8 and I got Frank week 9. So.
Okay. So yeah, you still got a couple of weeks before you run into some juggernauts. I got you starting 6-0, my man. I don't think it's going to be close either.
Yeah, hot take from me. I'm going to ride the hand. I'm going to start Danny Dimes again, and I'm going to start him over Jalen Hurts this week. People might call me crazy. I just don't like
You're
him
a
going
madman.
against. I am a madman. I don't like him going against that Cleveland D. As we've seen, they've been really good this year. Oh, you got me there. I thought I did something wrong there, but no. I don't like his matchup there. With Pittman getting out, I think Pierce is gonna have a good week again. Romeo Dobbs, he does scare me, but I mean it's a coin flip between him and Dortch. I don't really have another option since Nico Collins is on IR now. I love me some DJ Moore action. We'll see.
He's so cute.
He is.
Did you guys see? Did you guys see where? God damn it! Did you guys see where he was like
their little cute press conference?
Yeah, about Caleb, and like he was calling him bossy, and then everyone was like freaking out, and then he tweeted out, he's like, "Oh, it's just a joke, guys."
Yeah.
Welcome to the media.
Joke. It's a joke.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we overplay everything. Welcome to that side of things.
But no, yeah, I got me winning this. Hopefully a 6-0 start for to keep that legacy going.
Any additions, JP?
Absolutely nothing. Give me beef.
There you have it.
Oh, I do want to make this announcement too. We have also hired Han Solo as our OC. I just wanted to make that announcement.
Have you hired a DC as well?
No, we are still looking for that. I haven't
still
figured
searching.
out. Yeah, it's been hard. We got some options, but
some organizations will do the whole staff at once. Others will do it in stages. No matter how you do it, it is A-okay as long as it gets done. This should be a fun one as well. I'm not looking forward to this at all. I already got 4 points. Shout out DK Metcalf on a 30-yard reception. After a tough, close victory last week in a way that was not pretty, back at it with the team that we keep saying is a team you do not want to go against in Kale. I got to stick true to my gut. Plus, when JP goes over the standings for our picks thus far on the season, I'm trailing, so I need these points as I can get them. I always say I'm going to pick myself. I have to here this week. I get my second quarterback to return in Justin Herbert. It'll be tough with David Njoku if that ends up being my play out of the flex. Things aren't completely finalized yet, but it's really hard when your team's banged up and on bye weeks to have a whole lot of changes. Like what I've seen out of Jake Ferguson. Calvin Ridley's back this week. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. it's just one of those. I know Jamar Chase is going to have a great game. It helps too on Kale's side. He doesn't have Tyreek Hill. He doesn't have Travis Kelce due to bye weeks. I'm hoping I can catch some luck because that probably is the only way I beat this team. Kale is probably better than me on paper. I'm just hoping I get a couple lucky bounces my way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who to lean towards. It's going to be a 50-50 matchup. I mean, I will say this, though. I made my shot for Tank Bigsby last week. I'm going to make my shot this week. I'm taking all my overs on Najee Harris this week. I think he's going to have a 20-plus bomb this week. I think this is his week to shine. Give me his yards. Give me his all-purpose yards. I don't care what it is. Give me his anytime touchdown. I think he's going to have a good game. But other than that, no Tyreek. I mean, that really doesn't matter, though. He hasn't been good since Tua hasn't been back. Ray McLeod. I don't know what to think about him, but I'm going to take Kale with the upset here. Yeah, just how Chase has been playing, I'm going to take the upset. And I think Najee's going to have a good game.
As I have KO written down as my pick, but as I've been scrolling here, I do like the matchups in favor of Andy. But I've backed Kale, and I feel that I cannot jump off the Kale train as it starts to leave the station. I'm gonna ride it with Kale, although I'm gonna probably regret that a week from now. But I'm also gonna stick it with Kale.
I do think it's going to be a shootout too in Detroit, Dallas. So
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I like that you guys both took him because I need to make up some ground. I'll take it any way I can get it. And if you listen to Matt's part of the show where he was making his picks, he also took Kale. So I am the lone wolf here this weekend. I'm A-okay with being that in these circumstances. Hello, I'm Mr. Frog. Big week for Jake last week. He gets Luke. Luke coming off his highest scoring performance of the year, but just losing by a couple of points. And already not a good start for Brandon Ayuk, almost done with the first quarter in 0 points. JP, I want to start with you. Your best ability in terms of what you think of previewing this matchup and your pick.
Quite frankly, if we would have got to this before I saw the San Fran, stats at the end of one.
Oh, and Kittle too. Jeez.
Yeah, I would have said that. I can't believe the projection is as close as it is. I don't like Breece Hall's matchup against Buffalo. Although the Buffalo run defense is bad, something's wrong with Breece. I don't know what it is, but something's wrong with them. Oh, I was so confused when I saw Lad McConkey on Luke's team. I forgot that he now owns Lad McConkey. But I'm gonna roll with Zippy. I think he's just got the better team. I think Swift's projection is a little low. Garrett Wilson's probably gonna get another 22 targets. AJ Brown is the difference maker, though. AJ Brown's back. He's healthy. They sat him an extra week to make sure he's healthy. AJ Brown incoming 30-point bomb. And hopefully he can find something with these Tampa running backs because they're really holding them back. But I'm gonna take Zippy here.
Beaver?
This is my upset of the week.
Mew, 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 mew.
I got Luke in this matchup. I like Bijan's matchup. I think this might be his week. He pops off. That Carolina defense is pitiful. You see what our Bears did last week. I do like Lad's matchup too. He is going against Pat and Miller Moss, but I think he's going to get a lot of receptions, a little short targets to get his points going up. I also like Tony Pollard going against that NDD. They are also known to struggle against the run this year. So, the only thing that worries me about Luke's team, and I know we've talked about this multiple times, he's got to find a better super flex option. I mean, Deshaun Watson is not going to be the answer. And I know I'm taking him in this matchup, but I mean, as you look, the 22nd QB, I can't believe he's the 22nd. I think he should be even lower. I mean, he's put up the last 3 weeks 16, 12, and 8. I mean, he's just digressing each week, and I just don't know what to think. I mean, that offense just looked bad. It's just bad news. But I got Luke here. I think his three-headed goat's going to go insane this week.
I'm going to side with JP's reasoning. For me, it's just circling AJ Brown. His return is huge, and after Jake's performance last week, I feel like he's going to start hitting his stride. I feel like that's a common phrase we use, or at least I do on the show. Pretty plain and simple. I will take Mr. Frog to start off his coaching tenure under Jake's squad at 2-0. Before we get to our power rankings, one last matchup to go through, and this one's gonna be a barn.
This is the matchup of the week. This
I
is
was about to
genuinely
say
the
that.
matchup of the
I was
week.
about to say that.
This is
I was about
matchup
to
of the
say
week
that.
for multiple reasons. This is matchup of the week. If Dade loses this, that catapults Brady into Fat Panda and first pick.
Yeah.
Because even though Dade's going to use that tank against Ty, Dade would own the tiebreaker against Brady. Also, there was a potential roster thing I need to check out here.
No, it was Tank. It was Tank Dell. He's good.
Yeah, he is good. Jaden Reed is perfectly fine. Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Dade's beat his projection every single week we've played. So,
Yeah.
but then at the same time, Brady's beat his projection every time, and so I mean, this will be interesting. For the sake of I'm getting my picks right. I'm going to take Brady, but I really hope Dade wins this matchup.
Beav, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm also going to take Brady here. I hope Dade wins, but as you look at his running backs, Spanks, I don't think Madison's going to hit his projection there at 9.93, which is basically 10. I don't think he's going to hit that. He's going against a tough Steelers defense. I also don't think that other running back he has for Houston, I'm not going to pronounce that last name because that was
Dare.
mixed.
Just call him Dare.
All right, we'll go Dare.
Agumba Wale, if you want to actually.
We'll go Dare. I don't even think he's going to get that projection because Mixon's supposedly coming back, and then him and Akers will just get those
Pierce
carries.
is back too.
And Pierce. So, I mean, that puts him at 4 on the depth chart. So, I mean, him getting that projection is crazy. And him starting Tim Patrick just blows my mind. Oh, what has that guy done in our league? He's such an amazing person. I love Tim Patrick. Can't go wrong with him. But, yeah, I got Brady here.
Yeah, I'm going to go Brady as well. But like JP said, if Dade wins, so much chaos. And I love the chaos. I will be rooting for it, but it's one of those. I know I got to try and make games up on you guys, but I also can't pick irrational upsets that I don't even myself feel confident in. I'd love to see Dade win, but Brady's had weeks. He put up a big week against JP to get his lone victory. His team is just more capable of having that boom, and that's what I'm going to hopefully rely on in my pick here.
So I'm not going to suggest this. I mean, I know we are a mighty pod, us three, and we don't try to give out hints or whatever, but would this be a good week for Brady the Tank? Since he's already played Ty? Hasn't he already played Ty? Or no?
No, Ty would have 2 wins then.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Well, never mind then.
Trying to give out advice, Beav.
I know. I'm sorry.
But
I mean, it is an option though for him.
There could be some complete chaos though if Brady used his tank now and then Dade used his against Ty and then Ty used his against Brady could cause some complete freaking.
Ty already used his. Remember?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
He doesn't have a tank.
Well, Brady,
Ty's
if you're
screwed.
watching this and you catch this in time, this could be an opportunity if you want to endure the Fat Panda and if you want the first overall pick.
So many people fighting for the first pick in a draft that out of the 3 years we have had a rookie draft is probably the weakest class.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. How about that?
But so I will read back all the picks for the week, and before that, I will start with last week's picks, in which Drew, you went 5-2, Andy, you went 5-2, I went 7-0, which brings our total tally for the season. Me and Drew sitting at 25-10. I got my 2 games back. Andy, you're sitting at 23-12.
Oh boy. All right.
For this week, the entire panel, including Matt, chose me in my match against Ty. Me and Matt chose Matt. You two chose Frankie in the match of those two.
That's a big one for me and Drew. That is huge.
For Cam Boyer versus Jack, I lied. Us 3 took Boyer. Matt took Jack, riding the hot hand. For Beav versus Crook, everyone took Beav. For Kale versus Andy, everyone besides Andy took Kale. Andy going with himself like an honorable man, Drew. Take notes.
I also need the games back, so
yeah,
that helps.
We also have Luke versus Zippy. Me, Andy, and Matt chose Zippy. Drew, you chose Luke. and then we all chose Brady to finish up the week.
Oh, can I add something real quick? Just a
Go
little
for
quick
it.
thing. Zippy, I was looking at the schedule. I messed up on that. I actually play you next week, so that'll be a good episode.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. You want
You
to
already
fact check that?
You played Jake.
No, I play you
You play me. Oh, I
next
thought you said,
week. No, I
He
play
did say
you.
Zippy.
yeah, you were
Oh,
addressing Zippy.
oh, my
That's
bad.
okay. I know you
My
play me
bad.
next week. That's why I said you're going to start 7-0. But I will still
Oh,
And
take
then,
my
so
stuff.
you play Andy, then me, then Frank.
yeah, it's gonna be a tough 3.
We'll see.
Boys
It
are
depends on
going to be
how
battle tested after that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
depends on how healthy the squad is. So those are our picks this week, and we will from right away transition in to our power rankings. And JP always does a great job assembling the spreadsheet. We were talking about this before we hit the record button, and we checked out the spreadsheet. The three of us, we are dialed. We are pretty much in sync on some of these positions to start out. And JP, as this is your spreadsheet, I'll give the floor to you as we go through our 1 through 14 this week.
Yeah, I'm a little upset. I just realized I didn't put the if we go look at week 5, I forgot to put the north south in the team thing, and I just caught that right now. But that's okay. I'm sure people by now know the color codes, hopefully. But anywho, I feel very honored that I have again cracked number 1 in the power rankings. Benjamin Haggerty has done a phenomenal job turning this team around, and as an owner and a manager, I couldn't be prouder of the job that he's doing, and it means a lot to be reflected by that in these power rankings. But Beav, we got you coming in at 2, putting yourself at 1, 1, 2, 3 in order from yourself to me to Andy and our power rankings. And based on the movement, you are, I guess, our highest mover upper, our highest jumper, moving
That's
up from
Jack.
4 to 2 there. Yeah, you guys both moved up 2, but you moved up 2 spots to number 2. You're 5-0 for the first team ever in Beaver Fest history. How you feeling about that?
I'm feeling pretty good actually. I had my second real test. I played a tough Cam Boyer team. I had some guys step up on the bench when my team was on bye weeks, and I'm actually proud of them. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yep. Then we're moving right along to the Colorado Buffaloes, who, oh, I thought I spelled Buffaloes wrong there. I almost had a little. Anywho, we what's probably the best team in the league we had at 3. And I think, although the roster is the best, I think the production speaks for itself. He really has only had 2 boom weeks, and I think we're ranking him accordingly, having him at 3. Then we move right along. We all agree. First one we all agree on. Everyone putting Cam Boyer and the Moo Dang Maulers. I love that rebrand. Andy, I know you mention it all the time, but it's just it's so great. Moo Dang's great. But we got Moo Dang at 4. Back-to-back agreeances. We move hello, I'm Mr. Frog and Zippy to 5. Then we get a little bit. This is I think my favorite group to rank is the 6 through 10 or 6 through 9. There's always so much movement, and you could put any team anywhere. Yak, I kind of want to get your opinion on the 6 through 9, the 6 through 10. Talk about where you want down to 10 or wherever you're feeling. I just kind of want to get what you're feeling with this group.
Yeah, we'll go down. I'll go through 10. Yeah, with Kale, I put Kale above myself. Everyone, you and I both did that. Drew put me over Kale. Thank you, Drew. I'm a very recency biased based polar in how I rank these things. And yeah, Kale he's 2-3, so he is a couple games below me in terms of games back, but I think he has the ability to go off for a lot more than I could. And because of that, it goes back to injuries and just being banged up. It was a really bad week last week, and moving myself down, I feel like I had to keep myself accountable in that regard. But I definitely feel like I am where I should be in that grouping, definitely above the 3 guys below me. But for Jack, this is a 3-2 team, guys. We've been having him ranked anywhere between 10 to 14.
Scored 82 points week 1.
Yeah, but like we mentioned earlier in the show, though, if he starts anyone else and not Josh Downs, he's 4-1. So I think we're finally starting to give him some credit. 150 plus this past week in a narrow game with Luke. Feel like he deserves to be in that 8 spot. But then with I'll talk about myself. I could have put Jack in front of me, but I'm a 4-1 team. I feel like I shouldn't be lower than 7. And with Matt as well, tough week, obviously. Not much you could do when your opponent puts up 190 plus. But I like what he has to bring a little bit more than Luke. I think the consistency is there. And for Luke, continuing to fall down. I believe this is his lowest rank to date since we started doing these rankings with the show. Despite putting up the most points, team had a great week this past week, but it's one of those things getting a little slippery slope in terms of where we're going with the projection of his team. Not ideal, but yeah, it's one of those. We have our groupings, we have our tiers. It could really go any way with the 6 through 10 spots, but that was kind of my mindset, my thinking into ranking these guys.
Beav, anything quick to add with that group?
No, like we said, Andy hit on the spot. I mean, 6 through 10 is going to change every week. I mean, they're just all about the battle of the mid. I hate to say it, but nothing wrong with that. Just all equally sound. There's a big difference, like you said, McGuire, in the last pod. We have tiers. We have advanced 1 through 5, 6 through 10, probably the mid, and then level 11 through 14 is just rebuilding phase. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, just there's tiers that settle from everybody. I mean, there's could be jumps and there could be drops.
Yep. So then we move down to 11, 12, 13, and 14. I mean, we can group all of these guys together. Wow, Andy, I didn't even realize you put Luke at 11.
Yeah.
Harsh on the I like the overreaction. I actually really like it. But we have Brady at 11, who, as we just mentioned, fourth, the best of the worst according to our rankings, and he's in contention for the first overall pick as early as this week. That could be a reality for him. Then we moved to Cam, who I think out of all these teams probably has the brightest future. Already rostering CeeDee Lamb. But not much to talk about with the other two, as we've mentioned every show since Dade blew his roster up. He's always going to be in those bottom 2 spots. And Ty blew his roster up, and Ty will always be 13 or 14 as well. I don't have much else to add this week. I really don't think there wasn't any high movements or low or big fallers. But I will say, as we're in week 6 now, we're 3 weeks out, 4 weeks, I guess, from the trade deadline. And I think that could start to heat up some of these episodes. We will most likely cover trades made at the deadline, probably one episode dedicated to the trade recaps from the deadline when teams are making moves to win it all or sell their souls. We'll see what we're looking to do at that point. But actually, the episodes I'm really excited to get into is when we can start breaking down the playoff bracket. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
That's gonna be a good episode.
These are our power rankings for this week as we finish off week 5, and these are the week 6 power rankings. Andy, take us home.
Well done, sir. Well done indeed. Thanks so much for hanging out with us for the 10th episode, number 10 of Just Beavin. We recap week 5, previewed week 6, power rankings you just saw there, and we're joined by Matt Hendricks as our Beavin guest of the week. As always, remember to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, sound off in the comments, and go check out our social media handles. Drew, what's our TikTok handle again?
I think it's Beaver_Fest_pod. I think. In fact, that's definitely wrong. I'm so sorry.
I think it's Beaver.fest.pod or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Just have it right for the next episode.
Just have Beaver Fest pod, something of that nature on TikTok, Beaver.Fest on Instagram for all your league updates. As always, thanks so much for tuning in. We will catch you next week right here on Just Beavin.